Assalamualaikum and very good afternoon to everyone. Today our group will present about challenges and opportunity of digital learning in the Malaysian educational context. This is our assignment for subject sociology and education. This is our group member. Next, I will present about our introduction, which is about digital learning in Malaysia. First, let me explain the definition of digital learning. Digital learning is the use of digital technology, such as computer, smartphone, and online platform. To support teaching and learning, it allows students to learn anytime and anywhere. It also makes learning more interactive and student-centered, where students can actively participate in the learning process instead of only listening to the teacher. Next, let's look at the growth of digital learning after COVID-19. During the COVID-19 pandemic and the movement control order MCO, online learning increased very quickly because school and university very close. University were closed. Teacher and student use platforms such as Google Classroom, Microsoft Teams, Dilema, and Zoom to continue their lesson. Even after the pandemic, many schools still use blended learning, which combines face-to-face classes with online learning. Now, I will explain the government initiative. The Malaysian government has introduced several initiatives to support digital learning. These include the Malaysian Education Blueprint 2013 until 2025, the Digital Education Policy, and the Lima Digital Learning Platform. This initiative aims to improve the use of ICT in education and help students develop important 21st century skills such as communication, collaboration, critical thinking, and digital literacy. Finally, the purpose of this report is to explain the development of digital learning in Malaysia, discuss its growth after COVID-19, highlight the government effort, and identify the opportunities and challenges of digital learning in the Malaysian education system. That's all for the introduction.
Okay, now I would like to present the impact of digital learning on teaching and learning. There are both positive and negative impact. For positive impact, firstly, digital learning creates a more flexible, interactive, and learner-centered learning environment. Students can learn at their own pace, making learning more effective. Secondly, teacher can use digital platforms such as the Lima, Google Classroom, Microsoft Teams, Quiz, and Kahoot to make lesson more engaging and interactive. Thirdly, students can access learning material anytime and anywhere. This encourages independent learning because they are not limited to the classroom. In addition, digital learning help develop important 21st century skills, including digital literacy, communication, collaboration, creativity, and critical thinking. Lastly, digital learning help maintain educational continuity during the COVID-19 Movement Control Order MCO, allowing teaching and learning to continue even when school were closed. However, digital learning also has some disadvantage. First, it reduces face-to-face interaction between teacher and student, which may affect communication and relationship. Secondly, it is more difficult for teacher to monitor student understanding and participation, especially during online classes. Thirdly, long screen time and distraction from social media or the home environment can reduce student motivation and concentration. Moreover, students may become too dependent on technology, increasing the risk of plagiarism and academic dishonesty. Finally, practical classes, laboratory season, and face-to-face discussion are less effective when conducted fully online. Thank you.
Okay, now I will explain the challenges of digital learning in Malaysia. There are four main challenges, which are accessibility, digital divide, infrastructure, and student engagement. First, accessibility. One of the biggest challenges is not every student has equal access to digital devices. Many students will depend only on smartphone to attend online classes. Although smartphones are useful, they have limited functions compared to laptops, especially when students need to complete assignments, create presentations, or join online discussion. In addition, some families cannot afford to buy enough devices for every child. For example, B40 families may have only one laptop that has to be shared among siblings. As a result, students may miss classes or have less time to study, reducing equal learning opportunities. Next is digital divide. The digital divide refers to the gap between students in urban and rural areas. Students living in cities usually have a better internet access, while those in rural areas often experience weak or unstable connection. This problem is especially noticeable in Sabah and Sarawak, where some students need to travel to places with stronger internet signals just to attend online classes or submit their assignments. Besides internet access, some rural communities also lack proper digital infrastructure. Because of these differences, students do not receive the same quality of education, leading to educational inequality. The third challenge is infrastructure. Good infrastructure is essential for effective digital learning. However, many schools still face problems such as unstable internet connections, outdated computers, and limited ICT facilities. Some schools also do not have enough computers or digital equipment for all students. Poor maintenance of hardware and software further reduces the effectiveness of digital learning. Therefore, continuous investment from the government and educational institutions is important to improve school facilities and ensure that digital learning can be implemented successfully across the country. Finally, student engagement. Another challenge is keeping students actively involved during online learning. Many students lose motivation because online classes can become repetitive and less interactive. Some students participate passively by simply joining the class without actively asking questions or contributing in discussions. There are also many distractions at home, making it difficult for students to stay focused. In addition, online learning reduces face-to-face interaction between teachers and students, which can make students feel isolated and less connected to their classmates. To improve engagement, teachers can use interactive learning platforms such as Kahoot, Quizzes, and Padlet. These tools make lessons more enjoyable, encourage participation, and create a more interactive learning environment. That's all from me. Thank you.
Next, I will present about opportunities for innovation and flexible learning. Advancements in digital technology have opened up numerous opportunities for learning. Various platforms such as Canva, Genially, Padlet, Nipod, Quizzes, Kahoot, ChatGPT, and Magic School AI to create learning materials that are more creative, interactive, and student-centered. Furthermore, this platform assists teaching in preparing instructional materials more quickly and effective. For students, the use of digital technology fosters creativity through the creation of podcasts, infographic, video, digital stories, and e-portfolio. These activities not only make learning more engaging but also help students mastering essential sensory skills such as communication, collaboration, critical thinking, problem solving, and digital literacy. Additionally, digital technology support flexible learning, allowing students to learn anytime, anywhere, and at their own pace using computer, tablets, or smartphone. This approach offers more inclusive and equitable learning opportunities, particularly for distance learning, working adults, and students with disabilities. Digital innovation and flexible learning not only enhance teaching effectiveness but also cultivate students who are creative, independent, and prepare to face the challenge of the future digital world. Thank you.
So next, I will present about my part, which is effectiveness of digital learning in improving educational outcomes. The effectiveness of digital learning in improving educational outcomes is proven by its ability to provide flexible, personalized, and engaging learning experiences. So there is two key advantage, which is accessibility and communication and collaboration, and two challenges, which is digital divide and digital literacy gap. So the first key advantage is accessibility, which is students can access educational resources anytime and anywhere via an internet-connected device. This flexibility allows students to learn at their own pace, review challenging topics, and balance their education with other responsibilities. By using a learning platform, they can learn and study more efficiently and effectively. Second key advantage is communication and collaboration, which is ability to support through online discussion, forums, videos, conferencing, and share digital workspaces. This technology allows students to collaborate and interact with teachers regardless of geographic location, making education more inclusive and accessible. The next two challenges is the first one, digital learning, digital divide, where unequal access to reliable internet connections, appropriate devices, and technology infrastructure prevents some students from fully benefiting from online education. This issue can widen existing educational inequalities, especially among students from low income and or rural communities. The second challenge is the digital literacy gap, which means occurs when students or teachers do not have sufficient skills to effectively use technology in the learning process. Digital literacy is not just about knowing how to use a computer or smartphone, but also includes the ability to find and evaluate information online, use learning platforms correctly, and practice responsible use of technology. That's all from me. Thank you.
Next, I will explain the hands-on activity for Year 5 English vocabulary lesson. Today, I will demonstrate a simple digital learning activity for Year 5 English students. And this lesson is focusing on improving students' vocabulary using two digital tools, which is Canvas Slides and Google Forms. This activity addresses one of the challenge of online learning in Malaysia, which is maintaining students' engagement while also supporting SDG 4, which is quality education. So I will present my Canvas slides. First, I will begin the lesson by showing my Canva presentation slide. Okay. Good morning, class. Today we are going to learn some new vocabulary about food and drinks. Here, students can see colorful pictures together with the vocabulary words, its meaning, and an example sentence.
apple, banana, burger, pizza, milk, juice, delicious,
For example, this word is delicious. Delicious means something that is very tasty and enjoyable to eat. And the example sentence is the cake is delicious. I will ask the whole class to repeat word after me and everyone say. So I will continue introducing the same remaining vocabulary in the same way. Using the colorful visual will help students to remember the words more easily and keep them interested throughout the lesson.
healthy, breakfast, hungry,
Can you use these words today?
That's all for the Canvas slides. Next, we will move to the Google Form quiz that I've prepared. Here is the Google Form exercise that I've prepared. Once students are familiar with the vocabulary, they will open the Google Form that I have prepared. The Google Form contains different type of vocabulary exercise. So, for example, student can answer the multiple choice question, fill in the blanks, identify picture, and complete the simple sentence. So here's the way to answer it. I have also enabled the auto marking. So after students submit their answer, they immediately know which answer are correct and which one needs improvement. As the teacher, I also can access the Google Form response to identify question that many students answer incorrectly. This allows me to provide additional explanation if necessary during the classes. So that's all for our Google Form. Finally, students will answer one short reflection question at the end of the Google Form. For example, write one new vocabulary, what you have learned today, and write one sentence using that word. This reflection allows students to think about what they have learned and giving me evidence of their vocabulary development. So we will go back to the slide. In conclusion, this activity demonstrates that effective digital learning does not always require complex technology, but using only Canva and Google Form, teacher can create an interactive, engaging, and student-centered lesson. Students learn new vocabulary through visual materials, practice their understanding through interactive exercise, receive immediate feedback, and reflect on their learning. This activity helps to improve students' learning outcome while developing communication skills, digital literacy, and independent learning, which are essential competency for 21st century learners. Thank you. That concludes my demonstration.
In conclusion, digital learning has many benefits for student and teacher. It's allow learning to happen anytime and anywhere. Student can easily find information and lesson become more interesting and interactive. It also helps students improve their digital skill for the future. However, there are still some challenges. Some students have poor internet access or do not have enough digital device. Some teachers also need more training to use digital technology in teaching. Therefore, Malaysia should continue to improve digital learning by providing better internet, more digital device, and more training for teachers. This improvement will help teachers teach better and help students learn more effectively. Overall, technology should support teachers, not replace them. By working together, we can improve digital learning and provide better education for everyone. That's all for our presentation. Thank you.